Hello, housemates, and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. We are going to get right back into it, and let's see, where were we before? Let's see, we were back at our place talking to our newly acquired ghoul, Heather, who found us somehow. I want to know who's talking about where we are. And we told her the whole story about how we're a vampire and how, you know, that's kind of weird. It involves drinking blood. And then we said, hey, can we have some of your blood? And she was like, yeah, that'll be fine. And it looks like we're going to have a nice, profitable relationship. Okay, let's go outside. Hopefully soon we can get a nice new place to live. There are a couple places that you can live in downtown. One you get from Sebastian LaCroix. One you can only get if you are Tremere, like we are. Yeah. Alright, so let's look at what we need to do. L, there we go. So we need to go to the Hollywood Hills, to the Primogen, the Malkavian Primogen's house, and see what's going on. That's basically what we've got here. These are leftover quests, these are leftover quests. So, we don't have any side quests to do, so it's time. We're getting into the thick of the storyline now. We're going to get some interesting insights out at the Malkavian Primogen's place. So remember, a Primogen is the clan elder for an area, basically the leader of a particular clan in a particular domain.
Hop in.
I will, dude. So we are going to Grout's mansion. Alright, this old Nines Rodriguez here.
You, what are you doing here?
I was just in the neighborhood.
No.
What? That wasn't really a question.
You should get out of here. This place is bad news. Pardon me.
Huh? That was a strange interaction. Alright, we have 12 XP, so we might want to use that before we go in here. We could upgrade our thaumaturgy for exactly that much and get to Blood Salvo, which is essentially Blood Strike, but multiple hits. And just like with Blood Strike, if you remain still for the duration, the shots will return with stolen blood from your victims. Since we are progressing the plot, we might also want to think about upping our social skills, because once we get into a new area, they will be more difficult to use. I think for the time being, we might be okay. See, the way that we could increase our various skills, remember, you can always increase a feat, is what they call them over here on the right-hand side, by putting a point in an attribute or a point into an ability. So for persuasion, we would want intelligence and scholarship. For seduction, we want subterfuge and appearance. At this point in time, it's slightly cheaper to go for appearance. And it is slightly cheaper to go for intelligence. I feel like we also had... Is there a book that we couldn't read? Yeah, we need a research skill of at least 6 to read this book. And that's the book No Means No that we got from Jezebel Locke. Let's look again. So our research skill is 5. And we can get this through intelligence and scholarship. Oh, it's charisma and scholarship that does persuasion. So to get charisma, that would cost us 8. Intelligence cost us 8. Let's go ahead. We want to be able to read all the books, because the books get you further skills, and then we'll keep the leftover points for now. Always be closing. Okay, I thought it was a different book. This book increases your finance knowledge. Well, that's not wonderful. So finance we now have at 3, which gives us a haggle of 4, which is occasionally helpful. It may be more helpful in this refurbished version of the game than the one that I'm used to. So, all right, in we go. So this has the creepy haunted music going on in the background. I wonder what that... There's someone crying with a knife. Alright, let's get ourselves armed here. So I know what's going on, but you don't. We can't seem to talk to this woman. Alright. So, long story short, they're all crazy, and they will kill you. So, yeah, don't worry about it. Alright, quest log updated. You have just entered Grout's mansion, and something does not feel right about it. Got all this crazy laughing going on. Got this BDSM looking guy. People crying and laughing. Captain Hook would hate this place. Look at all these clocks. Alright, those creepy ass laughs are new to this refurbished version. So, yeah. Can we open this? No? Okay. So this place can be a little tricky if you don't know already what's going on. It doesn't funnel you into the right direction automatically. You do want to come here first. You want to be on the lookout for those tape recorder looking things, so they give you a lot of lore about what's going on. You don't need to get them. There's inspection here is pretty useful. There's a lot of stuff to find that you might not see otherwise. So now you get to see each weapon has a different stealth animation. So the stealth kill for the axe involves a big old swing. All right, what's this? Unknown. Give it. Item gained. Unknown. Well, let's so this is my blood talisman, or blood star. It's not that. Where are you? Oh, here it is. Unknown. You could not identify this item. Perhaps you should finish eating the soul donut. What? What? You need a research skill of at least 2 to use this item. What? This is confusing. I have a research skill. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe I need to find something interesting. Oh. Weekapog Thistle. Okay, now let's see. This petrified reed was not meant to fall into the hands of the damned, but vampires can benefit from its shamanistic magic all the same. Increase defense by 1 point. Awesome. So defense is a feat, which is... Is it a feat? No. Wait, where is it? Defense. Am I blind? Why can't I find... Oh, combat defense. There. So that is our ability to avoid taking damage of all types. Excellent. Perception at once shapes the mind and rules over time. Time, however, erodes human perception and then in turn warps the mind. The mind is capricious, having various effects on perception, time, and the mind itself. With harmony, progress is made. So that's a riddle, and it's a riddle about this little light puzzle we've got going here. Time. So there's no indication of which things are which. Oh yes, there are. That's mind. Time. Perception. So this thing tells you that mind, this one, just randomly changes the lights. And the idea is to get the lights all on at once, or maybe all off at once, because harmony creates progress. So what we know, perception at once shapes the mind and rules over time. So I guess that means when you pull the perception lever, it changes the other two. Time, however, erodes human perception and then in turn warps the mind. So I think it changes both of those. The mind is capricious and has random effects. Okay, so we currently have the mind on, time off, perception on. So what we want is to turn time on. Perception shapes the mind and rules over time. So I have a feeling if I pull perception, it will light up time and turn the other one off. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I thought so. So I opened up the door that you haven't seen yet. This ladder currently doesn't do anything for you. Alright, so make sure to listen to these, and we will do so right now.
Another unfortunate casualty to tide of time, insane asylums. I lament their loss not only as brokerage houses for the breadth and depth of human psychoses, but also I shall mourn the disappearance of that peculiar environment present only in an insane asylum. That palpable atmosphere of blistered brains and churning bowels, the odoriferous melange of freely flowing bodily humors, that gently rolling cacophony of distant sobs and screams, the muttered cursing at perceived enemies, and the blissful gurgling of the lobotomized, like a newborn babe discovering the sky. I shall still find test subjects as surely as I find bloody sustenance in the night, but this climate, I fear, may never be replicated.
Alright, that was creepy, dude. Talking about how much he likes insane asylums and is sad that they don't exist anymore. They do in your house, buddy. Let's return to the cackling laughter of these folks. You're going to silence some of that laughter, at least. This guy just does not seem to know what's going on. Shut up! Oh, he smells something. Oh yeah, if you hold back and then the attack button, you do a leap attack. Alright, here is another machine.
It is quite peculiar, the happenings I've been made to witness for my supernatural longevity. I am thinking of one unfortunate phenomenon in particular, of unique interest to my station, both as a professional and as a sufferer of this vampiric condition. It seems the stream of time has begun to erode the moorings of my chosen course of study, for the methodologies that gave birth to psychology are slowly disappearing. I find myself in an era that overlooks the physical component of psychological pathology time and again in favor of the sophistic practices of Freud. Phrenology, dactopintilism, and the rest of the old guard has fallen by the wayside, its champions all silenced in death, with my unique exception. Would that I could make my voice heard again, although it may be suspicious should I return to popular medical discourse 50 years after my apparent death. No, better that I continue my studies into the psychoses in secret. One day, may I hold up my own cure as validation of the methods. I am confident no cure for my condition, or that of my beloved wife, lies within our figurative minds, waiting to be unlocked by the correct combination of memories recovered from our childhoods. And I'm most certain it has nothing to do with the relationship between myself, my parents, and my genitals. Sorry, Sigmund, but I choose to stay my course. In time, too, may your star fade and disappear.
So he's talking a little bit about the history of psychology as a science there. He is speaking of an era of psychological methodologies hailing from, I want to say the early 20th century, the late 19th century. So phrenology, for instance, has to do, when he's talking about the physiological underpinnings of mental disease, he's talking in particular about the idea that it could be determined how intelligent you were, how prone you were to certain types of antisocial behavior on the basis of measuring the size of your head, looking at the contours of your skull, and or measuring things about your hands. That's what dactopindylism is. And so he's bemoaning the loss of these and the turn towards less empirical and more, I don't know, societal-based ways of looking at sort of behavior disorders. Of course, it's ironic that he should say that, given that this game occurs in a time long after Freudianism has been tossed away and a very close focus on neurochemical stuff has instead been taken up. So he's not aware of what's going on. So this game takes place in about the same time period in which it's published, so the early 2000s. So he is grossly out of touch with psychology. Now, there's no guarantee as to when those messages are recorded, although later messages indicate that they were recorded fairly recently. So in the 2000s for sure. I'm not here, crazy mask face. Go elsewhere. Oh, fine. We're gonna have to deal with all these guys in a minute. No? Alright, maybe I'm wrong. So, if you hadn't caught on, the messages we've been hearing are from Alistair Grout, who is the Malkavian Primogen, who we can gather was, in his time, before he became a vampire, some sort of psychologist. Now, or probably, depending on how old he is, he would have been called an alienist. Alienists are those who sort of ran asylums and dealt with mental disorders in the late 19th, early 20th century. So if you ever see that word in like a Sherlock Holmes novel or something, it's basically referring to an early psychologist. And it's, of course, extremely funny that he should be of such a profession, considering that the clan into which he was embraced, the Malkavians, are known for being just totally batshit crazy. Alright, if I recall, there's no particular reason to go into a lot of these rooms. You can't go in there, that's locked. Alright, yeah, I think all of these are locked, except maybe this one. But it's not really worth it. I don't think there's anything interesting in there. Of course, I may be wrong since this game has changed, so I should check it out. There's an unfortunate person. Right, these are all just locked. So, this is not a particularly challenging level necessarily. It's more like the haunted house, in that it's very atmospheric. Now, there are enemies here, and as you see, you can fight and get pretty messed up. But as long as you don't just run around randomly, you can instead just, whack people with your melee weapon of choice and be a-okay. As long as you sneak, lots of these people will be in their their various catatonias. Redecorating a little bit. Okay, we have another message.
Often I reflect with great regret on the missed opportunity that was my infector. Had I been conscious after the attack, I could have stopped the orderlies from locking her in the roaming pen. What I would give for just one interview, a few simple questions of the plague-ridden woman who met her end that dawn. Of course, there is no guarantee she would have been any more helpful than my current crop of test subjects, mewling wretches. Few could be called enthusiastic. Given the nature of the tests, I cannot expect the same fervor from all, but a modicum of cooperation would be appreciated. Animals. The one called John went so far as to gnaw off his arm and escape into the floorboards like some feral rodent. I still hear him scurrying about at night. He must be making an atrocious mess in there.
So, we learn now that Grout was infected with vampirism, embraced somehow by one of the patients at, presumably, an asylum that he ran. And then this unfortunate creature met the final death at the hands of Dawn out in the, sort of exercise area of the asylum. And we've also heard that something to do with Grout's wife having some kind of condition.
My studies proceed at a languid pace. I'm mired in a foul ennui as my wife's illness advances. My subjects grow restless without proper supervision, but I cannot pull myself back from this black depression. How many nights I've wasted now, gazing from the tower walk, pondering the frailty of existence.
So, he's doing some navel gazing. And we are going to go up, up, up. A nice, creepy spiral staircase. Assume we're going up to this tower that he spoke of. So we know that the state of the place is due not to his usual methodologies, but to the fact that he sort of let everything go because he was getting depressed. His wife's illness, whatever it is, advances. I suppose we can assume that she is not a vampire, or else such an illness would not be of much trouble. I probably don't have to sneak down these stairs. I just prefer not to accidentally alert anyone to my presence. Frail mage that I am. Also, it's more fun to come up behind them and use this hilarious stealth kill animation. Bye-bye. We have a sewer feat of knives now. Who gave them all this? Oh, hi, friend. Ow! Alright, the other one. Ow! Everyone is aware of my presence now. Don't want to get surrounded. Who's going to get back up? Just you? Hi. So you can see, if you're one-on-one with somebody, you can stop them from attacking you if you are brawl is high enough simply by feeding on them, which will serve the double purpose of killing them and also replenishing your energy. All right, can I go this way? Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's just the area that we were in earlier. We're just on the other side now. Okay. What about this door? Okay. That is a place. Alright, we can't go that way yet. It's locked. The guy's face is clipped into the table. Alright, another recording. Anything else in here? Nope. Some of these folks. One didn't notice the other one getting, like, axed into her. They're really out of it here. They seem to get a brief hint that they're about to be chopped in the head right before it happens.
After decades of solitary study into this affliction, I have learned that it is by no means mine alone. Indeed, the city is home to an entire society of similarly afflicted individuals with whom I've only recently made contact. They are an understandably standoffish sort, by and large, but I have been able to confirm with them that the condition is indeed vampirism, which apparently comes in a multitude of strains, each with a spectacular set of symptoms such as invisibility and even a sort of lycanthropy. Through numerous official interactions with the governing body of this secret society, I have concluded that their fundamental understanding of the vampiric condition is woefully lacking and mired in suspicion and pseudo-religious dogma that would make a Turk balk for its strictures. Indeed, they seemed impressed with my studies and the eloquence with which I was able to present them. Apparently, the typical sufferer of my particular strain of vampirism is far from the vanguard of the King's English. So impressed were they that they even offered me an office in their government, a rather high office by the sound of things. I believe I shall accept. If nothing else, it should provide a lofty vantage point from which to observe the breadth and epidemiology of the affliction so that I may move more expeditiously toward a cure.
So he spent some time, Grout did, as a vampire before discovering that there were other vampires than the one who infected him. So this is we can see that the recordings we've heard so far even span a multitude of decades. So he's been a vampire for quite some time. You just have to figure that out on your own, that switch exists. Took me a while the first time. I wandered around figuring out trying to figure out what I'd missed. Killing you because your outfits are terrible. Oh, hi friend. Oops, whiff. Now, you can see that if you were bad at the combat system and weren't bothering to sneak, this would be a pretty rough place. We also learned that vampires have fairly limited understanding of their own condition. And indeed, we have seen that a lot of them, at least, are rather have a belief in some sort of mystical origin of their position. Cain and all that kind of stuff. And Grout thinks that that's ridiculous, having maintained his scientific disposition.
I have accepted the role of Primogen for Clan Malkavian, the dreadfully winsome label applied to the particular strain of vampirism I suffer, so named for some supposed vampire father figure of old, more poppycock grown from a backward culture that seems interminably drawn to children's tales and the fiction of Victorian romance, when it should concern itself with the science behind their suffering. No matter, for I have taken this office for no greater reason than to advance my research. I must make mention, however, that even among my would-be peers in this governing body of vampires, the level of paranoia and superstition is frightening. Their intelligence is not the question, oh, indeed. As they courted me for this appointment, I had to suspect that their overtures were hand-tailored to what must be my obvious infatuation with reason, for the devil would do well to have such honey-tongued tempters. Even so, I could not help but notice the dressing of language these vampire leaders chose for their siren song. Whether it is born of habit, from addressing their unwashed, ill-educated subjects, or from their own deep-seated beliefs, their linguistic flourishes belie a faith in superstition over the providence of empirical reason that must be an all-pervasive theme in this society of darkest night. Damn it all, now I'm doing it too.
Yep. So he's calling them, basically saying, look at these goths. God, just talk normally. Alright, another clue. Chaos, like the mind, can be understood only through the scientific process. Order, however, is only as good as the perception thereof. Time is the key that links the two and bears witness to their ebb and flow. Alright, so we have order, perhaps? Maybe that's order. We have a key. That one looks, that star shape looks a lot like the Chaos Marine symbol. Time is the key, so that's probably the middle one, that links the two and bears witness to their ebb and flow. So order is probably the scales. So time is the key that links the two. Okay. Yeah, I don't actually know why that worked. This one I always just happen to get right. I don't know why. I feel like you have to turn on the middle one and then turn and then just go manually touch the other two once the middle one has been on. Alright, so we're dropping back down. That bookcase thing is open, so that's where we're now going. Got some zap noises going on here. Descending into some sort of cellar. Flashing with light. Oh, lightning. Alright, well, some person got toasted. You know, I really don't know what this could be like in reality. But, oops. Well, that sucked. Oh man. How much farther? Oh no. No. I didn't save. When was the last autosave? Oh crap. Alright, so I'm not going to make you watch all that again. We're going to end this episode here, and I'm going to go redo that stuff and get us back to that point, and we'll start another episode right there. I think, oh no, okay, I think I remember. You have to walk, there's a path that you can get through, and you have to find switches. You don't smash it. That was stupid. Violence is never the answer. Alright, so we're going to end this episode, and then we'll pick back up, and we'll be back in Grout's mansion at the giant electrical things. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked this video. Getting a little bit of lore and story as we move more deeply into the plot. Please subscribe to this channel if you want to see how it continues. If you want to see me do something intelligent rather than swinging an axe at a giant arc of electricity. And if you don't want to do either of those things, then as usual, I don't care what you do.